Hello everybody. As you can see, I'm not in the studio again. I just thought it'd be a little bit awkward to go back into the studio so soon. And actually flew back to New York last night. I'll be back next week. This is where I grew up on Long Island. And I didn't know that dog, obviously, as maybe he's a fan of other coaches and handwritten letters. I guess so. But he barked for yes. So I'm by my dad's house. Staying with my stepmom right now. As many of you guys know, my dad passed away about 1.5 years ago. And one of my best friends passed away like a week later. It was horrible. Oh, there's a deer right here. I don't know if I could turn the camera around. Let's see. Nope. I'll show you. Look at this. He just said, "What's up?" You saw that? He said, "What's up?" Yeah, the deer are everywhere in the neighborhood now. When I was growing up, it wasn't like that at all. I would have brought my gimbal if I thought I was going to film. But, so it's going to be a little bit jerky. But look at this guy. What's up? Just chilling on front lawns. And look, there's Mom. Wild. Anyway, obviously, you know, it's been tough losing Coach Margaret recently. And so, you know, thought I'd just talk about losing someone because that comes in different forms in our life. Obviously, with a death, it's different than a breakup, but we do have a lot of the same symptoms and our body goes through a lot of the same physical responses. By the way, we're gonna go someplace pretty cool right now. Just give me a minute. And so I thought I'd talk about that because, you know, I know Margaret meant different things to different people. And that's okay. You know, some of you are very attached to her. Some of you did calls with her. Some of you don't know her very well and maybe don't know the channel very well. But, you know, we all lose people in life. You know, I just told you that I lost my dad, one of my best friends. I lost my mom to cancer, all my grandparents. And so it's obviously very difficult when you lose people you love. And you go through so many similar symptoms. Physically, you probably lose your appetite, can't sleep, exhausted, waves of anxiety hitting your body. You can't think clearly. That's a big one. You're like in a fog where everything just feels so foggy to you. And, you know, all of us are going through that. You know, many of you through your breakup and some of you through missing Margaret and what she meant to you and the breakup. So it's really tough. And we go through different stages, you know, the stages of grief, which we've talked about in numerous videos with Margaret. In fact, you should search the channel for those videos. Shock, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then ultimately processing all the things that happened with that. But I'd like you guys, or I hope you guys can look at the videos with Margaret as a source of comfort for you. And there'll probably be times when you just get so lost in the video and what we're talking about that you just completely forget that she has passed away, and that's normal. One of my favorite shows is Curb Your Enthusiasm. And, you know, some of the people that have been on that show have passed away. And I forget that at times. Like the guy who plays Marty Funkhauser, he passed away. And a lot of times I forget all about that. But that's okay, you know. I still love it. I still love the humor. I still love the comedy. And so, I'm just going to cross the street here and I'm going to show you something pretty cool in a minute. So, you're gonna probably forget that she's gone, and that's okay, because she would want you to really appreciate what she's saying. It doesn't matter if she's physically here or not, because she's always going to be with us. She had such an impact on us. I mean, I don't know how many millions of people have seen her over the years. 40 million views on YouTube, around 3 million views on our Spotify. So she's had such a huge impact on everybody. And I know all of you are going through loss right now. And I can relate, obviously with Margaret, but with breakups too. But you got to talk about it. You have to process it. Otherwise, you don't heal from it. You don't feel any better. And I'm going to show you something that I think is cool, but I can't. I thought there's going to be a sign here. It's a little bit further ahead. You have to talk about loss. You have to deal with it. Otherwise, it stays in your unconscious, and it's going to come out with anxiety and nightmares and maybe panic attacks and all other ways. We're going to have physical symptoms. You don't just forget about people. Your exes don't just forget about you. You don't just forget about people you loved. It just doesn't work that way. You have to deal with it. One of the reasons, timing just worked out for me, that one of my best friends is getting married this coming weekend in Manhattan, so it allowed me to come back home. This is where I grew up, okay? Like literally the street. My elementary school is just down the street. I'm walking from my dad's house. Now my dad didn't move there until after my parents separated and I moved to Florida. So my dad wasn't here. I mean, he built the house with my mom, but this little town that I live in, Shoreham, like literally the street that I'm walking to, I used to go up and down every day when I was growing up. So it's nice for me to be back home and have memories of like my childhood. And, in some ways it makes me feel closer to my dad and my mom and my family and, the school that I grew up at. So check this out. Didn't even know this was here growing up. The Tesla Science Center. So Tesla, this is actually one of the 2 or 3 labs that he had. I know it sounds crazy, but this is literally half a mile from my dad's house and probably about 3 miles from my mom's house where I lived growing up. Tesla had a lab that he was building, or he had built this, I don't even know what you want to call it. I don't know exactly what you would call it, but he was trying to harness energy through the atmosphere, through the air, through like electromagnetic, I don't even know. I'm not Tesla, okay? The man was a genius. But this was literally just a few miles from my house my entire childhood, and I didn't know this. So it's really interesting, this little town, because, hope you guys can hear me okay. There was also a nuclear power plant that was being built here that never opened up. And there's also a laboratory where supposedly aliens were taken to back in the 80s. Now, okay, so they called it the tower, okay? And that was actually built. And this was supposed to harness energy somehow, and he believed that we could have unlimited energy by harnessing it through this tower, which was taken down, but now it's a museum. It's a lab, but it's too bad. I was hoping it would be open. I was going to go inside, check it out. But anyway, I thought you guys might appreciate that. There's the little firehouse and post office that I used to come to as a kid right up ahead there. You guys are probably like, what the hell is he talking about? I just wanted to take you on a little walk through my old neighborhood and let you guys know that, you know, I am here processing everything that happened, thinking about Margaret, thinking about, you know, family, and trying to, you know, heal from that. Actually, here's a 9/11 memorial that was put up too. And that is part of one of the buildings. So you know, it's a good place for me to come to reflect, not only with Margaret, but the losses, like we've talked about so many times over the years, of, you know, one loss brings up other losses for us, right? And so the loss of Margaret will probably be impacted by other losses you've had. It's a little too bright right here. So it's okay. It's normal. You're going to go through different waves of emotions, right? Obviously, I'm on Long Island, New York, so there were, I'm sure, people that were tied to Shoreham-Wading River. Fire department, police. So losses bring up other losses. And you're going to have to process it and deal with it. I didn't want to just jump back in the studio and make it feel like we were just jumping forward and not going to think about Margaret or all the things that she meant to us. Some of you guys don't care. That's okay. Some of you guys are just like, oh, just help me get my ex back. I know, I get it. But there are many of you that will want to think about her, talk to us about her, me and Victoria. We understand that. And, you know, we are equipped to talk about that with you guys when you're ready and when you want to talk about it. I've done a lot of work on myself over the years, and obviously Margaret had a huge impact on that. So I'm ready to help process that with you guys. And obviously this week I'm taking off to be home with family and friends. I'll be in Manhattan in a couple days. I'm going to see my brother. We're going to go to a Yankee game. Maybe we'll see Aaron Judge break the home run record, or legitimately break the home run record. Here's the Tesla Museum again. Pretty awesome, isn't it? But we've been overwhelmed by all the messages. Like over, oh, more deer. Look at that. I got like 1,500 messages on the first video, and with emails and Instagram messages and on the call. Are you a fan of Margaret? Right? No? They're thinking about it. They're thinking about it. We'll get them. And so it's been overwhelming, but incredible to hear so much positivity from you guys. And I thank you. I thank you all for donating. Those of you that did for her GoFundMe, that's going to her family. As you heard, she actually, her adopted daughter passed away last week, which is just horrible. She had a heart attack, and I have to be honest with you, part of me feels like she passed away from a broken heart. Because, you know, that is a real thing. People do pass away from a broken heart. And, you know, we have all kinds of chemicals. There was more deer over here. He ran away. But we're in some history right here with Tesla, right? Pretty cool. Okay, if I walk forward, I'll probably wind up at my old elementary school. But I don't want any of you to pass away from a broken heart. So you have to talk about it. You have to process it. In therapy, doing the workbooks, doing the creative healing course, going for walks, whatever you have to do to process and deal with the loss of not only Margaret, but somebody that you love, a partner, an ex. It will get better in time. I promise you, for all of us. You know, having lost 3 people very close to me just 1.5 years ago, I'm really not wanting to go through that again, to be honest with you. I don't want to deal with that depression again. So I'm doing my best to stay positive, and be reminded of all the great impact that we've had with Margaret. Over 500 videos. I do have more. I've considered maybe calling them legacy videos and putting out a different thumbnail when I do. I think that's probably the best way going forward, but I don't know when I'm going to start releasing those yet. Obviously it's way too soon. Thank you guys for listening to this rant. Obviously a lot of this was kind of unplanned, other than I wanted to show you the Tesla Museum, talk a little bit about, you know, losing someone we love, that we all go through it in life. And many of us can go through this together with the comments in the community. I saw so many incredible comments, just blown away, honestly. And so we really appreciate that. And so yes, I am taking some time for myself here, and it is nice being home with family, and gonna see more family throughout the week, and at the end I'll be at a wedding, and that'll be great. So I hope you guys are all doing okay. Put on that Margaret playlist when you sleep at night. It'll help you feel better. I know she loved so many people and was so proud of all the work that not only that we did on the channel, but that you guys did. She lived for this, okay? It wasn't a job. She absolutely lived for what she did. And so we want to celebrate that and appreciate that. And, you know, thank you for all the support and all the different ways you guys have given it. We'll get back in the studio soon, but, you know, don't think that even when that happens, that has any meaning that like we've forgotten about Margaret, or that we don't care about her or anything like that. It's just that, you know, we need to get back into a routine for ourselves and for you guys as well. So for those of you that stuck around this long, thank you so much. I hope this made you feel a little bit better. I'm probably going to be coming up on my elementary school soon enough, but it's too far away, so maybe I'll show you in a different video. All right, guys, thank you so much.